welcome homeowners to the Ready, Set, Go webinar. We're preparing homeowners for a transition. My name is Brian Schwatka. I'm a Realtor and Transition Specialist with Keller Williams Bay Area Estates in Los Gatos. I'm here with Erin Farrell, who is the Director of Sales and Marketing at the Saratoga Retirement Community. And if you need to know about this Brian guy, who is this Brian guy, just go on Google, type in Brian Schwatka. It's a pretty weird last name. There's not very many of us out there. And you'll be able to see some, testimonials, some videos, some things like that, things that you'll need to know to check me out. And then also, I've been a realtor since 2004. I'm located in Los Gatos. I work with homeowners of all ages, but I would say probably 95% of my business is homeowners over 65. So I'm a seniors real estate specialist. I've taken my education to the next level, so I'm a certified seniors advisor. And I'm also a transition specialist, which my goal is to turn you into a transition specialist as well. My goal really is to help you make good decisions, the best decisions for your future, whether you're staying or whether you're going. So I created this system. It's called the Stay or Go Homeowner System. It's a 3-step process. And first I help homeowners decide if they should stay in their homes or they should make a transition to a new home. Once we figure that out, you need to know where you're going, and that might be a new local home or retirement community or relocating out of the area. Once we know if you should go, where you should go, then I help homeowners sell their homes and make that transition as smooth as possible and as stress-free as possible. So the website that goes along with everything that I do and all of these webinars is stayorgohomeowner.com, and it asks you 3 questions. Which homeowner are you? I might want to go. Where would I go? And then I'm ready to go. And just a real quick synopsis of what we've been talking about for the last 4 or 5 months with all of these webinars. The I might want to go, this really is between you and I. This is more of a class or education culminating into a homeowner analysis, which is a personalized plan for you to give you that clarity that you need to decide whether to stay or go. The next thing is this whole webinar series, the Where Should I Go? And we've been focusing on retirement living communities. And you've seen maybe the webinars on the myths of retirement living, right-sizing your things for life, in-home care versus retirement communities, and that is giving you the certainty you need to move on to I'm ready to go. That's today's webinar, the Ready, Set, Go webinar. And that is the home selling preparation. It's more of a pre-transition. It's between the time you, let's say, get on the waiting list and your unit is ready and your deposit is up. And that is the pre-transition guide, which I can give to you for free. And then that culminates into an actual listing manual or an actual flight plan that's very detailed about, selling your home. So let's move on. What is this Ready, Set, Go thing? It's not a sales pitch. We're not trying to convince homeowners to sell their homes if it doesn't make sense for them. It's a little mini workshop. It's for those proactive homeowners who don't like surprises. They want to know things up front. They want to get ready. Things like capital gains taxes, holding title correctly should something happen between now and the time you move. Real estate 101, some home preparation, what you do need to do, what you don't need to do, some downsizing tips, and some creative financing, which some of you may need to think about sooner than later, and we'll get into that. So as I said, my purpose is solely to help homeowners make the best decisions for their future, whether they're staying or whether they're going. So what does the retirement community want from you? Well, they want a health assessment to make sure you're coming into independent living or maybe into assisted living. And I can't help with the health assessment, but I can help with this financial assessment that they will do for you. And what they're going to want to know is what your home is worth, what you would walk away with after you sell the home, and then they would want to confirm that you will not outlive your funds. So great, right? I mean, instead of going to a financial planner, which is a good thing to do, you can get that financial assessment right at the retirement community. So if you do need to know what your home is worth in this crazy market, you can go to stayorgohomeowner.com, and then there's a tab there under the real estate services called Home Quote. And I'm not going to throw out some pie in the sky number to get you excited. I'm going to tell you what your home is actually worth, and just fill in that information. It's quite confidential. It comes right to me. And what I'll do is I'll tell you what the home is worth in today's market, but I'll also give you what's called a seller's net sheet. Because if you sell for $1 million, that does not mean you're going to walk away with $1 million. Pretty obvious, but there's a lot of expenses in selling a home. So I'm going to list out all of those expenses for you, come to a total at the bottom, but there's something missing there at the bottom, and we all know it's those dreaded capital gains taxes. So I wanted to teach you in a very simplistic way about capital gains. It should be so simplistic that you could then turn around and educate someone else, right? Iron sharpens iron. I want to teach you in a way so that you can teach others. So let's start out with some definitions, some word definitions, very important when you're thinking about capital gains taxes. The first word is basis. That's what you paid for an item. So whether it's a car or jewelry or a stock or a home, there's that base price, right? That basis. And in this example, I'm going to keep with nice round numbers. Let's say we purchased the home for $100,000. Long time ago. Okay, so there's our basis. Now, let's say we sold it for $1 million. Remember, nice round numbers. Sell it for $1 million. I bought it for $100,000. What is my gain? Well, my gain is $900,000, right? Bought it for $1, sold it for 10. I got 9 left. So that's how much I gained. Now, we don't want to pay taxes on that entire gain, do we? That could be huge. So what the government's done is they've given us these exclusions, and exclusions increase your basis, because the more it looks like you paid for that home, the less gain is going to be there, right? So even let's say we upgraded the homes and we spent $100,000 on the home. You spent that money. You really paid $200,000 for the house, not $100,000. So that is an exclusion, and that raised our basis, and our gain now is only $800,000. Well, we need more basis. So we need to increase that, and another way to increase that is to include the selling costs from your home. All of the title company fees and the real estate fees and the closing costs and all of that. So there's another $50,000. Our gain is coming down. And the best part about these exclusions is each of us as homeowners, each of us on title, living in the property, that's your primary residence, each of us gets $250,000 of gain that I don't have to pay taxes on. I don't have to claim that. So that increased my basis. Now my basis is only $500,000, and if there's 2 owners, then that basis, the other owner gets another $250,000, and you've seen that our capital gain has gone from $900,000 down to $250,000, and most likely everybody's going to have to belly up to the bar and pay a little bit of capital gains, but we want that basis to be as high as possible. So once we know what that gain is, we have to figure out what the tax is on that gain, and the tax is usually about 30%, 35% is the taxes on your gain. Then you'll have to pay off your mortgage because that's owed, and you're left with your net. So here's something interesting that happens. Unfortunately, a homeowner passes away, and what happens at that time, if you're holding title correctly, you will get what's called a full step up in basis, which means that on the day your co-owner passes, or passed, could be 10 years ago, an appraisal is done, and whatever the home was worth on that day of the co-owner passing, then that's what it looks like to the government of how much you paid for that home. And if it looks like you bought it for $1 million and you're selling it for $1 million, then there really is no gain, and you'll get more net. Okay, now the problem comes in if you're holding title incorrectly. Okay, if you're holding title as joint tenants or tenants in common, only half of the property receives that step up. Okay, unless you have this document that can prove otherwise, that, let's call it community property, right? So, but you have to be careful, because trusts are usually written long ago, and a lot of them aren't reviewed regularly. And you could be holding title, even if you have a trust, as joint tenants or tenants in common, unless you have what's called a community property agreement inside of your trust. Something for you to check on. I'll give you some homework at the end of the webinar that you can start checking off things and getting ready for your transition. Okay? So be careful. Here's another thing I really want you to be careful of, and it's probably the number one thing I want you to walk away from this webinar. If you are a single owner, or if you know a single owner out there, and that single owner does not have a trust, if that single owner passes, then that property is going to go into what's called probate, which is a very expensive, time consuming, and public process to go through to find out who the heirs are. And so things can get tied up. Bills don't get paid. Reverse mortgages don't get paid. So if you leave today with anything, if you're a sole owner or you know of a sole owner, let's get you a trust. They're worth their weight in gold. They're going to save you a ton of money. Probate is very expensive and time consuming. And all of your heirs they're going to have their hands tied because they can't do anything until probate finishes. Okay, so that's a little bit about holding title and why it's so important. Okay, now when we're figuring out your capital gains taxes or your gain, remember we get an exclusion for all of the things that we've done to our home, all that money we spent. And if you look at this, these are home improvements that you may have incurred. Now, you don't have to have a receipt for everything that you've done. You can just start a spreadsheet. Say, you know, I remember I doing the windows and it was this amount of money and it was back in 1997. And we put in new floors and we updated the bathrooms and we updated the kitchens. Start to get your list together of what you did, when, and how much that cost. Now, there's a caveat there. Remember when we were talking about if a co-owner passes? If a co-owner has passed, and let's say it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever it was, you got a full step up in basis at that time, whether you knew it or not. And part of that step up in basis is don't worry about all of the home improvements you did before that step up in basis, before that co-owner passed. Because the government gave you the step up, they said throw away all your receipts, you can't claim all this stuff anymore. So the only home improvements that you should be calculating are the home improvements after the co-owner has passed. Now, if no co-owner passed, you get all of them. If a co-owner has passed, you only get the upgrades after the co-owner passed. So there you go. Start to compile all these numbers together, right? How much is your mortgage is left, what you did, who's on title, and then we got to get you that home quote. So again, go to stayergohomeowner.com, go to the real estate services, push in home quote, and I'll ask you questions in there so that I can figure out your capital gains for you, so you don't have to figure this all out yourself. Okay, so I can do that for you if you just fill in the information. It's very confidential. I'm not gonna email you a bunch of things or whatnot. I'm just gonna help you make these good decisions. Okay, another part of helping you make a good decisions, remember we were talking about the homeowner analysis. This is a very detailed report, probably a 50-page report. It's personalized. It's right to you. It's a one-on-one meeting we're going to have. You could do it on the phone, online, or on a Zoom call. And what I'm going to help you do in this analysis is I'm going to help you plan for your perfect scenario going forward. We're going to talk about different living options. We're going to talk about your capital gains, how you're holding title, home preparation, what you need to do, what you don't need to do. Should you buy first? Should you sell first? Should you occupy the home while it's on the market? Should you vacate? If you want to vacate, there's some creative financing options we can talk about. Do you want to sell that home for a cash out, or do you want to rent that home for cash flow? And we'll talk real estate 101. Once we get together and we do this homeowner analysis, and it's free, it's complimentary, I just want to help you make those good decisions. Now you're ready for that financial assessment with the retirement community. Now, quick disclaimer, I'm not a CPA, I'm not a tax person or a financial planner or an estate planner. I'm just getting you going, getting you thinking, and getting you compiling these numbers so that you can then go and talk to some of these professionals, okay? So that's my disclaimer. All right, so step one, really what we need to do is to figure out which realtor we're using. And I always tell people that you should be interviewing 2 to 3 realtors, and you should get these referrals from your friends, from family, from the seniors community, and see what they have to say, right? And this is a big, big transition. This is your largest investment. You got to go with somebody that you trust and you like and you respect. So go with your gut feel. get a couple people out to your home, or on a call or whatnot. And you want to get someone that's not too busy, not doing 20 deals a month, and not somebody who only does 10 deals a year. So you need a nice happy medium there. Okay, so not too slow, not too busy. Invite the realtor over, or you can meet them virtually. And I don't want you to let that realtor convince you to spend a bunch of money on your home. This is a seller's market. It's a white hot real estate market right now. And you spending money on your home is kind of a waste of money. And you're not going to get that return on investment that you're thinking. And we're going to talk a little bit in the coming minutes about what you should do and what you shouldn't do. So don't let them convince you to spend a bunch of money. That's not needed right now. You want to share your plans. There's a 60-day window, because once the retirement community calls you and says your unit is ready, they're going to want their funds, the buy-in funds, in 60 days, not 61 days. So the timeline is very, very critical and very exact. So you want to give them the calendar, work backwards from that move date, and then you want to have a good idea of what you think your home is worth. Now, I probably already gave you the home quote, but you probably know from open houses and talking to neighbors, and you get those things in the mail. Oh, look at all these homes that sold around your house, and here's about how much they sold for. But your house isn't like everyone else's house. So you have to have a specific number in mind. Don't tell them what that number is for you in your mind. They're going to say, hey, how much do you think your home is worth? And if you say 10 million, they'll say, great, I think it's worth 10 million too. And if you say 1 million, they'll say, yeah, I think so, 1 million too, maybe even 1.5. What they're trying to do is they're trying to get you enticed to have you sign a listing agreement with that realtor, and they'll tell you anything they want to know, you want to know, until that document is signed. So if you need to find out more about this kind of stuff, you can go to stayergohomeowner.com. There's a listing or selling homes tab, and I would love to be one of the realtors you interview, but I don't have to be. But I have a lot of detailed information and systems and things in place to make it a little less stressful for you. Okay, so let's talk about Real Estate 101. Let's just get into it. I'm not going to get into too many details. We're going to have another webinar in the future, the nuts and bolts, the actual flight plan. So we're going to go through in another webinar the whole listing manual, the flight plan. Here's the top few things, the most important things you need to know about real estate. First and foremost, you have to sell your home, or you want to sell your home as is. And I'm sure that most of us have got a knock on the door from a realtor who's come to the door and say, hey, I have a buyer for your home. They want to live in this neighborhood. And you won't have to worry about those pesky realtors or those open houses or fixing your house up. You can stay as long as you want. You don't have to do anything. Just sign the contract and I'll be your listing agent, and I have a buyer as well. Well, that's a terrible thing to do, because you don't want the buyer's agent representing you. That's a conflict of interest. You want your own listing agent. And for them to say, we'll buy it as is sort of a farce. That's kind of a scam, because there's only one way to sell a home as is. The way to sell a home as is to tell the buyers exactly what as is actually is. Say that 3 times fast. So what we want to know, or what we want to gather together, is a lot of inspection reports, so that we can tell the buyer, here's the good, the bad, and the ugly about my home. And I'm not going to fix any of it. Well, I might fix a little bit of it, but here it is. All right? Well, we are going to get a home inspection, a pest inspection, a roof inspection, a chimney inspection, and any other inspection that will allow us to tell the buyer everything we possibly know about that house, all cards on the table. It helps us get the home ready to go on the market. It really eliminates surprises down the road and renegotiating, like, oh, I thought I knew what as is, but now I sent in my inspector and they found all of these things that you didn't tell me about, and now we're going to renegotiate because now I know what as is actually is. So that's our goal, is to go all in, cards on the table, telling everybody everything they need to know up front. It's really seller beware. So in addition to all of these reports and inspections, you're going to have to tell the buyers everything that you know, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to have you fill out what's called a transfer disclosure statement and a seller property questionnaire. It's 7 pages of yes/no questions. you telling the buyers what comes with the property, what you've done to the home over the years, because remember, we have our list of all the things, all the upgrades, and we'll tell them about issues and defects and things that we've done in the past. We've had a past leak, we had uh, pests in the past that we eradicated, we built the retaining wall, lots of everything that you know that a home inspector, pest inspector couldn't possibly know. Also, if anyone has passed away in the home in the last 3 years, we need to disclose that as well. If it's been 3 years in one day, you don't have to disclose it. It's Some ethnicities have some issues with it, some don't. Don't worry about it too much. Also, if there have been any insurance claims in the past 5 years, some houses turn into like a lemon. So the lender for the buyer needs to know if there are any issues, ongoing issues. If you're in a homeowners association, you'll need to order the homeowner association document package, which is the bylaws and the rules and the budget and all of that kind of thing, to show the lender, hey, this is a good complex to lend upon. Also, neighborhood nuisances. If there's a bus stop out in front of your house, or let's say there's a young boy who plays drums next door at 11 o'clock at night, that might be a disclosure you're going to have to let people know, because we don't want people coming back and say, hey, you must have known this and you didn't tell me, and now I want retribution. So that's why we want to over disclose. And finally, you really only need 4 things to sell your home. One is you need to disclose everything. 2 is you need a double strapped water heater. 3, you need a smoke detector in every sleeping area. And 4 is a carbon monoxide detector on every floor. So really, right down to it, 4 things: disclosing, water heater, smoke detectors, and carbon monoxide. Okay, now we've disclosed everything we need to disclose. Okay, and we're getting ready to go on the market. We're not actually going on the market yet, and now it's time for us to decide out of those inspection reports what we want to do and what we don't want to do. You're not obligated to fix any of it, but what I like to do is get quotes to fix those things so we know what we have on our hands, and we can work that into a budget. And you should have a budget, whether it's 5,000 or 10,000, whatever it may be, to get your home ready to go on the market. Just like detailing a car before you put it on the lot, we got to put some lipstick on our home. We're going to get a budget together. And if we're going to spend any money on the home, a good return on investment is spending money on any plumbing or electrical repairs that need to be done, because we want the buyers to think and know that we really took care of the home. And sometimes you don't know if there's a plumbing or an electrical issue until the inspection reports come out. And then we can take care of those things and remove them from the inspection report and go out a little bit cleaner than we would have had we said, hey, as is, this is what it is. If they see plumbing and electrical issues, they're going to say, I wonder what else is wrong. So just my tip for you. And the seller is responsible for all of the costs that go into getting the home ready to go on the market. What it looks like, all the disclosures, everything that's on the seller. Now we want to start sooner than later, because a lot of these contractors are very busy, especially post-COVID, and we want to reduce stress. And the way to reduce stress is to do things slowly but surely over time. And between the time you put your name on the waiting list and the time your deposit comes, it might be 6 months or it might be a year. So we might as well start now. Okay, so slow and steady wins the race. Like I said, we're not going to do everything, but I can help you decide what you're going to do and what you really don't need to do. Okay, next thing we need to talk about is downsizing. And we did have a specific webinar a couple of months ago that was right-sizing your life, right-sizing your things for life, with Cindy Hofen from Managing Moves and More. So I wanted to briefly spend 1 or 2 minutes on downsizing for those of you who didn't attend that webinar. So we understand what you're going through. I mean, even the downsizer probably needs to downsize their own home. And we understand you don't know where to start. It's really challenging. It gets overwhelming. You get that sort of paralysis of analysis, and, family and friends really aren't around to help you as much as they used to. Pizza and beer doesn't go as far as it used to. No one enjoys moving. You've got a lot of stuff, a lot of memories, but I really want it to be something that's actually fun for you, and I don't want you to feel stressed or rushed. So, and you're going to need to downsize, I believe, whether you're going or whether you're staying, it's going to reduce a lot of stress in your life. There's even home and garden television shows about downsizing. So, yes, we do need to do it. And here's a couple of tips. You need to schedule the time. And you have time that you schedule with your friends or with lunches or to exercise and vacations and whatnot. And you're not going to downsize unless it's on your calendar. So it could be 15 minutes a month, 15 minutes a week, 15 minutes a day, but it's got to be sitting there in your calendar, and you just stop what you're doing and you go and do it. If you're going to do it, you need to know where you're going as far as the size of your next unit. So I have a 5-bedroom, 3-car garage, 3,000 square foot home. Isn't all that stuff is not going to fit in a 1,000 square foot retirement community home. So we need to get a floor plan from the retirement community to really get a feel for, our stuff and will it fit. Okay, so those are the tips just before you begin. Now, once you get going, here's the steps. You're going to get a staging area, whether it's in the garage or a spare bedroom. You're going to have this area, and that's going to be dedicated to your downsizing, and you're going to have boxes there. Set up big boxes, and you're going to put a black plastic bag in each box, and each box will be labeled, the stuff you're keeping. If you're not ready to move yet, you don't put stuff in there that you're keeping. But stuff you're going to give away, stuff you're going to sell, stuff you're going to donate and dispose of. And if you don't want to do boxes, you can use colored sticker dots. And the right sizer move manager will give you those sticker dots. And I only want you to be focusing on the things that you want to keep, period. Don't be thinking about your thimble collection or your salt and pepper collection or your golf ball collection. Just focus on what you're taking with you. Everything else we're going to leave for the other people in our lives that may want our stuff, our friends, our family. Invite them all over. Once you've put things in boxes and put stickers on things, have everybody come over, have a party, say, hey, anything without stickers or anything in that box you can have, okay? Now, if they don't take your stuff, especially the kids, what you can do is you can wrap that stuff up. It's a secret. You can wrap the stuff up, and you can give the stuff to them on Christmas or their birthdays, Father's Day, Mother's Day. Hey, here's a beautiful present. It's Grandma's china. Good luck with that. So just a little tip for you there. So we're getting rid of our stuff, and we don't want to get wrapped up in all of the stuff, all the selling of the stuff. I'm sure someone will want this big brown furniture, so I'm going to put it on Craigslist or something, and I'm going to slow down the system selling things. So really, the market is really soft out there. Everyone's downsizing. All the baby boomers are there. They're all downsizing and moving. So the market is really soft. My tip to you is to have a move manager help you with this, the timeline, the floor plan, the sorting, all of the selling of things, donating, packing, moving you there, and setting you up once you get there. Now, these move managers, like we discussed in the last webinar, you can get a hold of them at managingmoves.com, but they're going to do all of this stuff for you, okay? And there's not one person I've ever told that they should use a move manager who has ever said, I wish I didn't use a move manager. They are worth their weight in gold. They will help you when no one else wants to. And I know you're thinking, well, I need to do it myself. They have experience. They can do a la carte. They can come once a week. They can come 5 times a week. It's up to you. All right, let's move on to the best return on investment projects for your home. Okay, what we're trying to do is get that curb appeal going. So we're going to be doing some landscaping, some pruning, some raising of the canopies of trees so that they can see your home. We're going to wash the outside of your home lightly because we don't want to chip any paint. But if we are going to paint, then we'll do a serious power washing on the outside. Really, the more painting we're doing is really on the inside. So interior painting, we may be removing some of your gorgeous wallpaper. I know it was beautiful and expensive when it went in. It's not real popular these days. I'm not even sure you can buy wallpaper. Maybe it'll come back. But there's some things we need to do to make that home bright and light and open and smell good and feel new and all of that. And the best way to do that is with interior paint. and maybe removing some of the wallpaper. Okay, then we're going to get an industrial strength cleaning. I know you might have a home cleaner right now. That person might have got kind of used to the way they clean. We need some neutral party that comes in there and says, okay, we're spending the whole day here. It might cost $600 or $700, but that place is going to look brand new. All the window tracks, all the appliances on the inside of the oven, every single thing is going to be done through a crew of people that will really make that thing sparkle. Okay. Then we're going to talk about doing some staging or maybe some virtual staging. We're going to get to that in future slides here. And again, the seller's responsible for these costs to get your home ready to go on the market. The realtor is responsible for all of the marketing costs after the home is ready to go on the market. Then we're going to kick in and we're going to spend a bunch of funds marketing your home. So those are the best return on investment projects. My theory on what you should do and what you shouldn't do is the best return on investment is getting your home to a good spot, a good position. Okay, if it's bad and we make it good, you get a great return on investment, and it's not that expensive to go from bad to good. Where it gets expensive and less return on investment is when you say, you know, I'm going to do new countertops, or I'm going to put in new windows, or I'm going to put on a new roof. All of those things, you don't know what the buyer wants and when they want and what materials they want and what color they want, and it's not a good return on investment. You're not going to get, let's say I do a kitchen remodel for $20,000, doesn't mean you're going to get $25,000 in return. When we go to good, we're getting it to a point that this is acceptable. I can see myself living here. I can do this. I can do that. I pick those colors. Let them do that. Okay, so that's the best advice that I can give you to get the best return on your investment. So I wanted to show you a couple of examples of what happens or what we see when we get to a home and what the home looks like a couple weeks later with the least amount of money spent to give you the best return on investment. So here's just a couple of examples. Get to a home here in Saratoga. You can't even see the home. It's full of junipers and ivy and bushes and trees, and we can't see the home. And it's all about curb appeal, right? And we want the pictures to look really good on the internet, because a lot of people, maybe they're not going out and seeing these houses. Maybe they're looking at them online first. So we have to entice them to come and see it. So, you know, that was only maybe $800 of landscaping, maybe $1,000, and now you can see the home. We took out those junipers and put some cheap tan bark in, and we got a big bang for our buck there. Now you can see the home. Here's the backyard that looks like some of our backyards. And with just a little bit of effort, we cleaned it up, put some pea gravel in. Pea gravel goes a long way, pea gravel and tan bark. Here's a dark kitchen that all we really did was paint the cabinets, put new knobs on, put some Realtor linoleum in. We didn't even change the countertops. Put a little bit of lighting in, did some painting, and we're off to the races. And $2,000 later, we're looking beautiful online. Here's another kitchen, real dark, with, you know, just not something that's attractive. We put new flooring in the kitchen, carpet. We kept the countertops, but we painted the cabinets. We took off those draperies so you can let the light in. And now we've got something that's actually a feature rather than a deterrent. Okay, here's a bathroom where, you know, it needed a lot of love. You walk over to that toilet, you'd probably fall right through the floor. And by going with subcontractors that we work with on a regular basis who give us good prices and good lead times, we can use Home Depot type of upgrades. And I think we did this bathroom for $6,000, and now it's brand new, and now it's a showpiece. Real dark living room here. There's hardwood floors under there that we can't see. There's beautiful draperies, but people aren't using draperies anymore, and the furniture is a little outdated. So what we did was we let the light in, we showed off those hardwood floors, and we started doing some staging to show these younger buyers what their dated home could look like. So it's big bang for our buck there. Here's a dark room, draperies, carpet. We wanted to show off that hardwood floors. Your hardwood floors are probably beautiful under your carpets, so we just refinished those. We painted the fireplace white. Took out the draperies, got some paint. Here's another thing with bad paint, bad lighting, bad carpet, and now it's a beautiful workspace. Last one here, we've got some dark wood paneling and some old carpet, and what they're doing now is they're painting the paneling, and we put in the realtor carpet, $1 a square foot, and did our staging. So you can see we can take these homes just in a matter of 2 to 3 weeks with a very low budget of maybe $10,000 tops, and return on investment, you're definitely going to get your $10,000 back, I would say, because we're going from bad to good. And really, mainly, it's going to sell faster. It's going to look better online, and people are going to be able to see a vision. If we don't do this kind of work and we say, I'm going to save the $10,000 and just put it on as is, you're not going to get any excitement, any exuberance, any imagining that, oh, I can't wait to have my kids live here and enjoy myself. So anyway, there you go. Now let's talk a little bit about this staging. The staging, going back here, this staging and the whole entire house, I think we spent about $3,000, maybe $3,500 for actual staging. That's with a vacant house. With a occupied house and you have all your furniture still there, we might have to work around that and the staging will be a little bit less. But we can also do what's called virtual staging. It's been very successful now, and we've done this because of COVID. And we take pictures of the rooms and we enhance those pictures. These people are amazing what they can do. And we do full disclosure on the pictures, says this home or this room has been virtually staged. And I want to show you some examples of some virtual staging. This is an empty room on the left, and on the right, this is a virtually staged room. Though that furniture and those pictures and all of that are not actually there. They're just on top of the photograph. It's amazing what they can do. They can take an empty room and put on draperies and carpet. They can even do virtual furniture replacement. If you've got a pool table or a big piano, you don't like the color of your walls, you don't like your carpeting or your flooring, we can make these changes and show them what the home could look like. Here's some virtual landscaping. Same time of the year. The picture has just been enhanced on the right. You know, brown might be the new green, but I think when selling your home, green is the green that you want to see. So we can do virtual landscaping, again, full disclosure. We can also show them what their bathroom, what their kitchen might look like if they did a remodel. Some cases we'll show them 3 different pictures of 3 different remodels, and we'll give them a price. Here's what it would cost to make our bathroom look like this. So here's our kitchen. Kitchen's not bad on the left, but boy, it sure looks better on the right. And then if you've got room for a pool or you have some landscaping or some things in the backyard you want to show them, you can just get very specific with them. Here's the 60-day transition. It's very tight between the time you get your notice that says, okay, you need to give us the deposit and you're moving in 60 days later. There's a lot to do. And we want to do as much as we can up front. So when that call comes in, we've already done that work. So all of that home prep can be done before you get the call. You're downsizing your home and pest and roof inspections. You can make some repairs. You can start doing your seller's disclosures. We can even start doing some pre-marketing. All that stuff can be done before you get the call. Once we get the call, then we have to get the home ready to go on the market. We're going to put it on the MLS, the multiple listing service, and we're looking for an as-is contract. Once we get the as-is contract, the clock starts for your 30-day close of escrow. And if you think about that on a 60-day window, if we have 30 days already chewed up just in the lender closing escrow, we've got only 4 weeks left, and that might be 2 weeks at the beginning and 2 weeks at the end. So this 60-day, we got to get moving. So in this transition, once we get the contract, 3% deposit will go to the title company. That's a good faith upfront money that says to the seller the buyer's not going to back out. But the buyer can back out for any reason whatsoever until they send you a document called the contingency removal document. That's that green square in the middle. That's the long pole in the tent. And that is telling the seller, I'm the buyer. I've done all my due diligence. I can get a loan. I'm good with the house. I'm good with all the reports and inspections. I'm ready to go. I'm going to remove my contingencies. And if I back out after I remove my contingencies, then that 3% deposit is up for grabs. Not saying you'll get it for sure, but it's there for you to contest. Okay? Then once they remove their contingencies, remember that 30-day clock is still ticking. They'll do some other things. You'll do some other things. We'll get into more specifics when we have more time. But then we close escrow, and then there's going to be some time after we close escrow that you're going to need. And I'll get you that back. It's called a seller's rent back. It could be for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, up to a month at no charge. We could just negotiate that into the contract so that you can reduce your stress. Okay? So there's the transition. Now, here's my question to you. Do you want to occupy your home while all of this is going on, or do you want to vacate your house before it happens? Okay? So the question is, and I'm thinking in my mind, the retirement community needs $300, $500, $1 million. You don't have those funds sitting around to give to the retirement community, so you need to sell your home first. Do you have those liquid funds sitting around to give to the retirement community before you sell your home, move to the retirement community, and then sell a vacant home? A lot of us don't have those funds readily available. Okay, so and selling a home is much easier to do when it's vacant, and it's much easier on you not to have all these people coming through your home and all this rigmarole happening. It would be so wonderful if you could leave first. So here's some options for you if you want to vacate early. Above the green line is free, a little more temporary. You can stay with family and friends while the home is on the market. Or you can go on vacation while the home is on the market. We don't need you there. I'm a full service realtor. We can do it all without you there. You can sign documents remotely using electronic signatures. You can move to an Airbnb, or maybe you own a vacation home or a rental home that you can stay in while all of this is happening. Okay? Now, if you want to actually move into the retirement community and you want to obtain some funds to do that, you can sell investment properties or rental properties and use those funds, but you're going to pay capital gains on that. You can sell stocks, but you're going to pay capital gains taxes on that. I don't want you to pay capital gains taxes on those, and then also on the sale of your home, you're going to get killed that year on taxes. So what you can do, if you think ahead, some banks are still offering home equity lines of credit. You can use those funds to go on the vacation, or use for the Airbnb, or use for the home preparation, or as part of your entrance fee. You can also obtain maybe a personal loan from friends or family, or from a private lender for 60 days. Once you sell your home, you pay that back, maybe give them some interest for them to do that for you. And then there's what's called a modified bridge loan that you can get from a lender I can hook you up with. Actually, there weren't any such things as modified bridge loans before I told these lenders, hey, these people aren't moving to a new home. And a bridge loan, the caveat is that you buy another home. Well, we're not buying another home, we're buying a lifetime care contract. And so there weren't any loans out there. So I've worked with some loan companies to now offer these new modified bridge loans for people who are just moving to a retirement community, or a combination of all of these. Long story short, think ahead, start early, contact me. I'm harmless. I'm not going to stick a sign in your lawn. I'm just going to help you make these good decisions, no strings attached. Okay? So that's if you want to vacate early, and it's pretty important. It's really, really important. It's on people's mind. It's almost the first question I ask people right now. Okay. Again, reiterating, we can get together for a personal homeowner analysis anytime you'd like and talk about all sorts of different things. And then I can give you the homeowner analysis. We can do that online, in person. I can send you a PDF. I have a questionnaire for you to fill out. It's very simple to do. And you can also request a pre-transition guide, which is everything we've talked about today and more, to get you ready for that phone call that says, your unit's ready, we need your 10% deposit, and we're going to need 90%, the other 90% in 60 days. So let's get moving. And like I said, do things up front and early so you can request this from me and I'll send it to you. Just go stayergohomeowner.com/GO and you can order that for yourself. Okay, so here's some things for you to do, your homework, things that would help. And this will be in the manual too, that I can send you. You'll have a big checklist of all the things to do. This is pretty self-explanatory. Make some extra copies of the keys. Gather up all of those warranties and the solar panel contract and the furnace manual of how you use it. All of the other things that are coming with the house. Start gathering that stuff in a box and put it in one place. Lock up your valuables, your jewelry, your medication, your money, your firearms. This mainly is for people who are occupying the property because a lot of people are going to be coming through your home. If they are coming through your home and you're not doing full staging, you're going to want to depersonalize your home. Don't want a bunch of pictures of where people are, I think I went to high school with that guy. We want them to be looking at the house, right? So start depersonalizing your house. Get that move manager in place. Start downsizing. All your household hazardous waste, the pests, pesticides, the paint, all of that stuff that's in the garage. Start gathering all of that stuff up and maybe make an appointment to go down and get rid of it. The crawl space to go under your home is probably in a back bedroom. The door's probably covered with a bunch of stuff. Let's get that cleared out so we can allow somebody to get under the house and allow somebody to go into your attic. Think about your pets. Had one client where the dog actually bit the buyer. Not good. Buyer didn't buy the house, obviously. So think about that. Get that deep cleaning. Do some yard work, curb appeal. These are things that you can do to help. Okay? And here's some homework for you. Remember, the first thing I told you, the most important thing I want you to get out of this. If you're a single homeowner or if you know someone who's a single homeowner and they don't have a trust, please get a trust in place. They're not that expensive. They're not that hard to do. And they'll save you hundreds of thousands of dollars and a lot of time, money, and frustration for your heirs. If you're married and you don't have a trust, you should be holding title as community property with rights to survivorship. You can go down to the county for $14. They'll change the way you're holding title. So in case somebody passes away between now and the time you move, you're going to get that full step up in basis. Make sure your trust is in place and you have a community property agreement within that trust. You want to calculate how much you spent on your home improvements. Remember, we talked about that. If a co-owner passed away and at that time you didn't do or have a home appraisal done, whether it's 5 years ago, 10 years ago, you need to contact an appraiser and have them go back in time and tell you how much the home was worth the day that co-owner passed. That will give you your new basis. So when you sell and you go to the tax person the next year to do your taxes, you can give them that appraisal and say, here's my stepped up basis, here's how much I paid for the home pretty much. You also need to clear title of homeowners that are no longer with us. If you had 2 people on title and one of them passed, it's not automatic that the county records are updated to show that there's only now 1 person on title. So you need to do that so that when you get to the signing table to sell your home and there's 1 person missing, there's not going to be any stoppage or hang up. Then it's time to interview some realtors. I already told you how to do that. Get a realistic value of your home, not some pie in the sky number. With that number, with that information, you're now going to be able to talk to a CPA and talk to a financial planner to make sure that you know exactly how much you're going to walk away with and how you're going to not outlive your funds. Then you're going to decide what we just talked about is if you're going to occupy or vacate, if you're going to sell first or buy first. You're going to create that staging area. You're going to schedule some time with yourself to do that right sizing. You're going to invite your friends and family over and wrap some presents for them. You're going to contact that move manager and schedule at least an initial consultation. Super important. Let's just have them come in for 1 hour. It's free. Have them look at your home, have them look at your floor plan, and give you some tips and tricks and how often you would want to meet with them. Last page of this, get that budget going. How much do you want to spend on the home? to get it ready to go on the market. And if you don't have those funds available, start thinking about getting a home equity line of credit so that you can have those funds available so that we can put our best foot forward. Hire a realtor now. You don't need to wait. You can hire a realtor and they can be working with you and helping you make these decisions 6 months, 1 year in advance. They're free. You don't pay them until the house sells. It's a non binding agreement, but they can't work with you until they have some sort of relationship. So start your realtor process going. If you want to order a home inspection or a pest inspection so that you can understand what's up with your house, you can do that yourself. You can make some basic repairs for yourself, or you can wait till you hear from me or another realtor about what you should do and what you don't need to do. Get that pre-transition guide. And also, last tip, let these people do the work for you. I use the analogy of like a three-legged tool. You've got the retirement community on one leg, you've got your realtor as the other leg, and the third leg is that move manager. Between those three people, we'll be working with the subcontractors and the inspectors and the movers and all of these people so that you only have to work with only those three people. So make your life easier, get those relationships in place, and start before you need to. I want you to be proactive, not reactive. I want you to make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. Okay, so if you want to learn more, I have these little puzzle piece videos on the website, stayergohomeowner.com, under the education tab. Just little 2, 3, 4 minute videos about everything kind of that we've talked about, broken out into little pieces. And really, that's about it. I really appreciate everybody being here and being proactive homeowners. And thanks, Erin, for having me. And we'll see you on the next webinar. Any parting words, Erin?
No, I really appreciate all of you taking the time to spend with us for an hour today. I'm already planning our calendar for 2022. So we're going to have more to come, lots more to come. You applicants, can't wait to see you soon. So get ready.
Yeah, and now that the COVID has been reduced a little bit, go in and go back and see what you're missing. Saratoga Retirement Community is so beautiful this time of year, and they've done a lot of upgrades and things there at the campus to show you. So get a hold of Erin or get a hold of me if you'd like to chat off to the side.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.